What's up, YouTube? It's me, the Artisan MC, and today I'm going to review for you Penguin Episode 4. Cynthia, I forget how to say it now. Cynthia? Yeah, anyway. So, this episode was very good, and it was what is a solo episode about one character. Now, in the age of the girl boss narrative and overly delving into women in another show and doing bait and switch, I did not find this a bait and switch in this episode of this show. Although the show is called The Penguin, for 3 episodes so far, we've been playing up what's going on with Sophia Falcone and her time in Arkham. And in the last episode, we got to see get a little hint about how she ended up in Arkham. This episode tells you, it gives you the origin story of how she ended up in Arkham Asylum. What Oz did to her that she was mad at him for, that landed her in Arkham. For the most part, I can say I was right. That the reason she was pegged for the Hangman murders is because her father, Carmine Falcone, was the one killing these women. Now, I pointed it out that it was shown in the Batman movie that Carmine Falcone had a penchant for strangling chicks. One of them in the Batman movie was his girlfriend, the mother of Selena Kyle. If I remember what the name of her mother in that movie was, I would say that it was mentioned in this show, which is the show giving another nod to the Batman movie by Matt Reeves, letting you know it happens in this universe without having to show Batman. Now, Carmine Falcone killing these women is just a side to find out that Sophia Falcone found her mother when her mother committed, quote unquote, self-deletion in their house and had a history of mental illness. What you tend to find out in this episode is that it was not suicide. That, in fact, her father killed her mother by strangulation and then hung her like she hanged herself. Now, Sophia doesn't put all this together immediately because she was young when it happened and not understanding the signs of what she was seeing. The story picks up with exactly where we left off, seeing what the situation was when Oz and Sophia were set upon by the Armenians working for the Maronis. And what happens is that when Oz and Sophia are put on their knees with guns to their head, that Maroni's wife starts talking. And she's pissed at Oz about them trying to run this new drug without them. And what she starts to do is tell what she knows and lets the cat out of the bag that Oswald killed Alberto Falcone. And she says this right in front of Sophia, and Sophia realizes that Oz was the one that killed her brother. Now, I was waiting to see when this was going to happen. I didn't think it would happen that quickly in the episode, but I actually knew that Sophia didn't need to spend no time with Mrs. Marcon because she knew too much. She didn't need to spend no time with her. And they got through that pretty quickly with her admitting this shit and her finding out. This is why when Oz escaped, he was like, leave Sophia, because it was a lost cause at that point. He knew what's coming. Now, Sophia hits her head in the escape and pulls out her phone and calls Dr. Rush and admits to him it was Oz. Now, how Dr. Rush finds her is a mystery to me. But when we next see Sophia, it's back in time to see who she was before all of this happened. To see her as the dutiful daughter, the smiling, kind of happy girl going to benefits and stuff like that. And it's a really compelling performance by Christine Miliani. I think I said her name right. That she imbues this character with more life than we have seen in the episode so far, which you always have to guess at reactions from her through her eyes. In this version, you see her emoting more. You see her interacting, seeing how much life and fear is actually in her. And you get to see the world that she lives in at that time. Now, you also get to see her father, Carmine Falcone, in this one, played by Mark Strong, which I thought did a good job. Mark Strong is a very good actor. I like Mark Strong in most things that I've seen him in. Seeing him play John Turturro's role as a younger version of Carmine Falcone, it was a little jarring at first, but I end up being fine with it because he's able to bring that same type of gravitas that you're kind of worried. You don't know what's going to happen with this guy in the room with you. That he can denote a sense of dread, or you might have stepped in the wrong direction just by looking at you. Now, you see in a very House of the Dragon kind of way that early on, Carmine Falcone was setting up to give his criminal organization over to his daughter, that he would break tradition when the time came and make his daughter the head of the family. And she was happy for that. She wanted that. But being approached by a reporter at one of these benefits actually sets her down the path to asking questions and thinking about things that happened with her mother and revealing all these other murders of these women that have happened and really causing her to think, because the reporter is kind of pointing the finger at her father. Now, because this raises a lot of questions, she meets with the reporter at a different point in time and sees the evidence that she has and starts putting things together to question what she knows about how her mother died, because these women all apparently have died the same way her mother has died. Now, this meeting is a problem because Falcones don't talk to press, and she has come and met and talked to the press. And her driver, Oz Cobb, takes this information to her father and tells her father. Now, this is a problem because while Oz was doing his job, Sophia believes that he needs to be loyal to her and should have come to her first. He went to her father. And from that, she has a meeting with her father that ends in the sense that her father understands that Sophia knows what really happened to her mother and what may have happened to these women. And her father decides to pretend like she's ill, she's sick, and has one of the cops that are on the payroll arrest her leaving the mansion and frame her for the murder of that news reporter and all those women. Hate being right about the wrong things. From there on, this is where the bulk of the episode happens, to where you see how Sophia ends up in Arkham. Her father has spared no expense in making sure she got railroaded straight into Arkham based on the trauma that happened from her mother and saying that she's crazy with sworn statements from the family. All the cast of characters that we know of at the Falcone family at this point in time. Even her Uncle Luca. And she is rushed on grease lightning into Arkham Asylum. Now, I've talked about this before, and Charles Faulkner Jr. has mentioned it as well, that there's only two things in the world that will really change a person. Is being in war and being in prison. I would say the third one would be being committed to an insane asylum when you are not crazy. That would be the third one. And that is what happens to Sophia. She is put into Arkham Asylum quickly, not understanding what the hell is happening, kind of understanding why. But nobody wants to believe that she has not deleted these women, that she is not a killer. And the inevitable does happen in this place. But what you see here is what the same thing that the Joker movie showed, is that you see the breaking of a person. In this sense, you see the breaking of a woman. Mentally breaking her. It does not help that while she's in Arkham, she gets some One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest kind of treatment, possibly at the behest of her father, paying people to kind of do things to her and make her lose her grip on reality. She goes in for what is supposed to be 6 months. 6 months later, she can't come out. She ain't even having a trial. They're just going to leave her in there. And the judge agreed. This episode was, I would say, one of the darker episodes. And if this is the middle episode for an 8-episode show, damn. Damn. This story and what she went through really made you think about something that I would think would be a fear of people to understand, in that you're in a place where you cannot get out because you know the truth. You're not crazy, but someone else of an unscrupulous individual is in charge of the say-so of you being able to get out. You're going to stay there forever. And that's why she was there for 10 years. Now, I don't want to ruin the whole episode but you see what she went through in that 10 years of being in Arkham, and why after 10 years she comes out and is the way she is. By the time you get back to this episode, she is waking up at Dr. Rush's home and understanding the situation that she is in. And she decides to make a plan. Now, I will say this without ruining the last part of the episode. She looked fly in that yellow dress. She looked fly as shit in that dress. That shit was working for me. She's a little skinny, but she got some hips. She looked nice. Looked damn good. Crazy as she may have been, she looked damn good in that dress. But where this character goes from there is jaw-dropping. The tempo in this show was a little bit slower, but the performances in it were superb. And I think it's because the director of this episode was an actor and a decent actress. I had to look her up because she looked familiar on the behind the scenes part. She looked really familiar. And then I placed her face. Then I had to look her up and see, yeah, I know this woman. I've seen her in a bunch of roles. Yes, she was one of those it girls at the time. So bravo to Helen Shaver on doing this episode. It was very good, very compelling, and shocking at the same time. I mean, I talked very little over this episode when I was doing the watch and review because I was just into the episode. So for me, this is well worth a watch. I really hope people watch this show and understand and appreciate it for what it is and guard against it being labeled as what it is not. I will say this at episode 4. I don't want to see a Batman anywhere near this shit. I don't. This show is way past good. Way past good. In 4 episodes, it's been way past good. I don't need to see anybody in a costume in this bitch. No. I need to stay right here and let this story live right where it is right now. Because the next episode, I think it'll start popping off a little bit more. But I'm really enjoying what is going on in this show right now. This is like, I can go back and watch this now. I can go back and watch it again. So that's it. That's my review of Penguin episode 4. Like, share, subscribe, support the stream if you feel so inclined. I have been Artisan MC, and I will see you next time. Peace.